talking about Tokyo and some of the most interesting topics today, such as the Charter Oath, the outside pressure that forced Japan out of isolation, and the Iwakura mission. Also, the new leadership in the Meiji period and the civil unrest. With the Charter Oath, you were able to become richer and more popular. It was kind of like the feudal system in Europe, which kept the poor poor and the rich rich. But now it's just like in Europe it was abolished. And the charter was decreed that the people shall pay more attention to people with talents and skills such as acting and art, because before they were frowned upon. Before the Charter Oath, Japan was in a state of isolation. This meant that no one was allowed out of the country. After Japan was forced out of isolation, Japan was forced to sign the Charter Oath, which helped Japan take the first step towards democracy, such as holding assemblies to make decisions so everyone could get a say in all the new laws and taxes. In the old class structure, in the lower levels, such as the non-humans and the outcasts, they were not able to move out of their classes. With the Charter Oath, you were able to become richer and more popular. Even though the emperor had all the power over Japan, it didn't mean that he ruled everything. After the shogun Tokugawa was overthrown, there was a group of young samurai which created an oligarchy, and they were in charge of everything. Well, not everything. These new leaders were young and intelligent. They had two main goals, and they were to modernize Japan and renegotiate unfair treaties that they had signed after isolation. To accomplish these goals, they had to change politically and economically. And now we go to Jerry Liu, who had an interview with the emperor.
Okay.
Thanks, Riley. And now we'll go to the emperor.
I hear you're changing your government system.
Yes, we are. On the Iwakura mission, we discovered a new way to govern our people. It's called representative government, which means instead of having a group of people make decisions for us, we're going to have one defined leader.
And what about religious freedom? Will you let people practice their religion freely?
Since we opened our doors to the rest of the world, all of the cultures that were once punished and had to leave are allowed back into our borders, and we will no longer prosecute anybody if they practice other religions.
Now that you've seen the power of technology, will you start industrializing?
Yes, after that scare from the U.S., we'll start modernizing our society. We need to learn how to make metal and new technologies so that we can compete with the rest of the world.
What things will you modernize?
After going around the world, we realized that our education system is lagging behind the rest of the world. We're changing it so that we have an appropriate knowledge of the new technology skills.
Hello, Mr. Makarov.
Hola.
So, how did Russia contribute to taking Japan out of isolation?
Well, let's see. We started to try and trade with the Ainu, but Japan soon stopped us. Sucked. We also landed in Nagasaki, but we were denied trade and entry yet again. In the end, we were finally forced to attack Japan and get an answer.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your time. Let's move on to Mr. Liu in Japan. Hello, Mr. Johnson.
Hello?
So, let's get down to business. What do you think the USA did to take Japan out of isolation?
Well, we wanted to trade with Japan, so we mildly threatened them into a treaty. When they saw that we had signed a treaty with China, they lost a lot of their confidence. When they saw the size of our warships and the kind of technology we had, they lost what was left of their confidence. We knew we could easily defeat them if it came down to a war. After negotiations, a treaty was signed that allowed Americans to live in Japan under American law.
Let's move to Mr. Fong in China.
Hello, Mr. Fong.
Hello.
Okay then. So, what exactly did China do to bring Japan out of isolation?
We did really not do anything. I think it's because we lost war against the English. The English made us shame and very angry. They also made other English and European, same as them. Hello, Mr. Smith.
Tut tut, cheerio.
Why am I on this show? Okay, so you know the drill. What did Europe do to bring Japan out of isolation?
Well, Holland was the only country still in contact with Japan. So only people pretended to be Dutch and traded with Japan. I guess one point they started gaining interest in us because they started importing books on history, military, science, and translating them.
So, Mr. Emperor, what do you think the cause for civil unrest was?
Well, bad weather had caused poor crops, and the farmers and peasants were starving. They began to question the taxes we were forcing them to pay. Citizens then began questioning every decision the government made. Eventually, the samurai started supporting the emperor instead of the Bakufu. They were angry at the Bakufu because he signed the Harris Treaty against the wishes of the emperor. The people started wanting a government run by the emperor.
Yeah.
The shogun responded with a military attack. The attack ended with the shogun being defeated. After centuries, the imperial court was once again the highest authority in Japan. And I am freezing my ass off.
Another broadcast of Channel 4 News. And for all you movie lovers out there, that'll do, pig. That'll do.